From the IMTV Wave Channel 5 studio at Greenville Senior High School, home of the Greenville Green Wave, the Greenville Veterans Memorial Park and Digital Library proudly presents Never Stop Serving. And now, your host, Mike Maloney.
Hello, everybody, and here we are again, episode 14 of Never Stop Serving. And without saying, we always have a good guest, and we do. We have the captain of this district's Ohio Patriot Guard, Ronald Schall.
Yeah.
How are you, Ronald? Thank you for being here. Please, Ronald, we're going to start off right off in front of you here, and please tell us everything about you. So, in other words, start from the beginning, your family, siblings, where you went to high school, where you went to school, your military service, and then we'll talk about what you're doing now. Go ahead, sir.
All right, my name's Ronald Schall, born June 12, 1947. Come from a family of 8 kids, so I'm not going to name them all. Went to high school at Trotwood Madison. Went to Trotwood Madison, went into the Army in 1967, and that's pretty much it on that.
Tell us about your service. What did you do there?
Okay, I was a helicopter mechanic on the Huey in OH-6A, which is this small helicopter here, and served over in Vietnam in 1968 to 69 at Pleiku, 4th Infantry Division, 704th Maintenance Battalion.
And you repaired helicopters?
Yes.
They call those little birds?
Yeah.
Okay. I read a book from a pilot. He kept saying little birds.
Little birds, yeah.
That's what he's talking about, yeah. So you worked on little birds in Vietnam. And then what, sir? Anything else?
That's pretty much it. I went to Hunter Army Airfield,
and
where they were training the Vietnamese to fly helicopters after I come back from Vietnam.
Right.
I got
so
out.
How long was your service?
3 years.
3 years. Thank you for your service, sir.
Thank you.
And welcome home. Tell us what you did after Vietnam, sir.
I worked 30 years in printing, and then I worked 10 years at General Motors.
What did you do in printing, sir?
We did food packaging. For 15 years, I worked at McCall Corporation that did magazines. Mm-hmm. And then the last 15 years, I worked at a place that we did food package wrappers and things.
Right.
Candy bars, all that kind of thing, wrappers.
Right, excellent. And what got you into the Patriotic Guard, the Ohio Patriot?
I heard of them, and when I became part-time, I figured I had enough time to make it worthwhile, and I joined because I like what they do and the whole reason behind what we do.
Yeah, when did you join?
2011.
2011.
Yeah.
And you've been in ever since?
Yeah.
And you worked through the ranks, or you always came in as a captain?
No, I started out just doing funerals and eventually was made a ride captain and then district ride captain.
Right. And we'll get into the structure here in a second because that's something I don't know about and I want you to tell the audience about. But first, what does Ohio Patriotic Guard do? You mentioned funerals. What do they do?
Our main purpose was back in 2005, there was a church called Westboro Baptist Church that started picketing and boycotting military funerals. And we had to devise a way to stop them from disrupting the funerals without us disrupting the funerals.
Right.
So we figured out a way to do it, and that's how we got started. And it's escalated from there. We do all sorts of veterans, memorials, highway dedications. Wright-Patterson Air Force Base has us down there a lot. We've done the Doolittle Raiders final salute, the 450th Bombardment Group final reunion, and the 449th Bombardment final reunion down at the Air Force Base.
So you do a lot of representation things. I know the reason I even heard about you was you guys go to graduations for the diversion program.
Judge Atkins, yes, Judge Atkins has a program where he gives veterans a second chance because they sometimes get in trouble and almost have to go to jail, and they give them a second chance to correct themselves and straighten up. and he has us down there as support for the veterans, and so we go to his court quite a bit.
Awesome. Anybody in the Guard mentors? I know he's got a mentor.
Yeah. We got.
There
I think there's 3 of us that do mentoring.
Yeah. And let me talk to you real quick about the structure of the Ohio Patriot Guard, and then we'll get into the pictures you provide. You gave some great pictures we want to talk about. So you're a ride captain. I imagine that's just like being a district commander in any of the other veterans organizations, right?
Yeah.
You're a ride captain for, what is it, District 4?
Yeah, District 4.
So you're District 4 ride captain. How many districts are there?
There's 9 districts in the state.
Right, and you obviously have a state.
I have 11 counties. They're all divided up.
Oh, in District 4, there's 11 counties.
Yeah, 11 counties. Yeah.
Okay, so they're all divided up that way, all right?
Yeah.
All right, and then of course there's a state captain.
Right, state
and then there's a
captain,
district
assistant
captain.
state captain.
Ah, assistant, right on. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So it's structured like military,
Yeah.
like we all follow the line and so forth. That's
Right.
great. How long is your term? A year, or are you gonna?
You
just
as long as you want to do it.
Yeah. Until you say you're done, huh? Until you say you're done.
Pretty much.
Right. I do want to take a look at some of these pictures, and of course, as always, our great friends at IMTV here are going to plug these pictures in, hopefully, as we're talking about them. The first one, it looks like there's a hoisting of the flag.
Yes, that was a young man who got hurt in, I don't know if it was Afghanistan or Iraq, but he had both legs blown off.
The gentleman in the chair, of course.
Yeah, and they.
What's his name? What's his name? You know. I'm asking you too quick. Sorry.
Yeah, I can't. Gibson was his last name.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And where was that?
The house was built for him in Marysville, Ohio.
Yeah.
And homes for our troops. That's all they do. Is they build homes for our wounded soldiers that lose limbs.
And this is another organization that actually you can represent.
Yeah.
Right on. That's great stuff you guys do. I appreciate that. And then it looks the other pictures looks like the Guard's getting ready here. You do a lot of. It looks like you're all getting ready there.
Right.
A lot of flags there.
Yeah.
Looks like you guys are ready to do a funeral, possibly.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And I see a couple of those. And then I see you on a bike. Is that you on the bike?
Yeah.
All right, so everybody can see him.
My nephew took that picture of me when we were escorting the wall from Wapakoneta down to Sydney.
Right on. And I remember when the wall was in Sydney. That was this year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, right on. And then we see a row of bikes, some more funeral pictures and so forth, and then it looks like you had mentioned Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. I believe this picture here. There's some pictures there of the Wright-Patterson Hall, and you guys representing there. And you mentioned the Doolittle Raids.
Right.
That's the picture here with the big flag, right?
Yeah, we were allowed to be there for the Doolittle Raiders' final toast. We went to the hotel they were staying at, and because they took 16 planes off the aircraft carrier, we put 16 bikes in front of their bus to escort them to the museum.
Very cool. Very cool. And then there's a vehicle there with painting on it. What is that? Explain that.
That's the Eyes of Freedom. It's a Lima company out of Columbus that the whole unit was killed in Iraq. And they got these people to do life-size murals of them, and their boots and their dog tags and stuff about them is placed at the bottom of it, and it travels all over the country. And when they come through our area, we escort it to where it's going. It's a nice thing.
Yeah, awesome. And so and that is that stationed in Lima? We say Lima.
Yeah, no, it travels so much, I don't think it has a home anymore.
Right. That's good. That's actually a good thing.
Yeah.
And the other thing I want to talk about is the crosses. I see a picture here with the crosses in front of a building there. What is that?
Yeah, that's down to Cincinnati Oasis Golf Course. Every year they hold a yellow ribbon, a scholarship program in honor of the fallen soldiers. Every year they have kids that they send to college on a free scholarship in the fallen soldier's name. And that's
cool.
what that is.
Right. And is that any conflict, or is that the more
No,
recent one?
Yeah, that's basically Afghanistan, Iraq.
Right. Right. Wow, you guys are busy. You guys stay busy.
Yeah.
You guys stay busy. Anything upcoming you want to tell the audience about? Or anything else you'd like to share?
Well, we really don't know what's going to happen, and most of the time we're lucky if we have a day's notice.
Right.
So it's hard on that, but we take volunteers all the time. It's all volunteer. The only ones that are assigned a mission is the ride captains. Other than that, then you show up and see who comes. And we can always use people. You can go on patriotguardriders.org or ohiopatriotguard.com and join us. We can always use people. We did 17 funerals in 3 days here just this week.
17 funerals this week.
17 funerals this week.
That's something else. How many people do you have in your district?
In my district, I have 40. I think statewide we're somewhere around 7,000. But
and I imagine you're growing, not shrinking.
Yeah. We get new people. We get a lot when we do a funeral for a KIA or something. A lot of times the family members, the dad and the mom both will join us.
Right.
Because
it's awesome.
They know what that side is.
How do you guys fund yourself? Self-funding?
It's all volunteer. We do get donations.
Right.
From people that we do their funerals, their child's funerals.
He mentioned the websites and so forth to reach out to these folks. They also have a video on there. We're going to add that video to the end of this episode also. So that way it's here on YouTube for them, and it's on their site also if you want to check out and see what they're about. It sounds like a pretty great program to me.
It is.
I'm not personally involved in it, but that sounds like a great deal, what you guys have been doing. I've heard about it. That's why I reached out to you guys. Drug you in here.
Yeah, I'm truly honored to be in the organization.
Yeah, good. Anything we can help you with in the future, let us know. Okay?
All right.
I appreciate it, Ronald, being very much. Thank you for Never Stop Serving. You're a great example.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. All right, folks, that's it for today. Our next episode, episode 15, is going to be from Las Vegas. We were able to snag one of the past Nevada state commanders from the VFW. And sit down and talk to him. That'll be our next episode. Thank you all for watching. Continue to watch and continue to support us. Thank you.
There is something surreal about the moment a military staff car pulls to the curb of a home. The age-honored tradition that sends military members to deliver the news that no family ever wants to receive. For those who are delivering the news, it is the longest walk they'll ever make. For no matter how well rehearsed, no matter how many times they formulate the words they know they must eventually say, each and every word will be torturous to deliver and even more torturous to receive.
He spoke the ever-famous words of, the President and the Department of Defense regret to inform me. And those words carry such life-changing, a life-changing momentum with them.
She said 2 Army men had just left her house. That Brennan had been killed in action.
I went totally numb, there was no feeling at all. I just didn't want to believe it was true.
I knew that Brennan's parents being notified was going to take some time because there is no base or military organization that's not National Guard within Oregon, and that I wasn't sure where their notification officers were going to come from.
Up rolls a car, and just by the description of the car, you knew this was a government vehicle.
I remember one of the first things that Linda said was, "Don't let him come to the door."
I know she was still holding out hope, that there was a mistake.
Even inside myself, I was saying, "You're not coming to my house." you're going to somebody else's house down the street.
It was a way of holding off, even for another minute or 2 minutes, the news or the reality of what had taken place.
Just 17 days shy of his 27th birthday, Army Sergeant Brennan Gibson and 2 of his fellow servicemen were killed when an IED obliterated the Humvee that they were riding in.
He wasn't even supposed to be going out on that mission. It was a last-minute mission. And they were kind of getting everything together, and Brennan said, "I'm going with you guys." And they said, "No, you don't need to go." And he said, "No, if my guys are going, I'm going too."
He showed his care for others, even in an adverse situation, and didn't give it a second thought.
Parents are not supposed to outlive their children, and the pain you see in the eyes of those that have is truly heartbreaking. In the days that follow the death of a child, there is a vacuum so great and anguish so painful, a parent struggles just to get their feet out of bed and face another day.
Unless you've lost a child, and especially to war, you really don't get it. I have never experienced any kind of grief like this before than what it's like to see your child die before you do.
In death, the respectful, ceremonial, and precise nature of a military funeral is a powerful statement and a living testimony to those who have lost so much. It is the reverent and moving act of respect that pays tribute to the fallen and honors the ultimate sacrifice a warrior can give.
His birthday being on the 27th was just almost a calling that was the day we were going to bury him too.
I thought it was kind of neat that on his 27th birthday, we would honor his and celebrate his life, as well as say goodbye or see ya.
Imagine if you can, however, in the midst of such unbearable grief, in the middle of their deepest sorrow and struggling to cope with their loss, they receive word that someone's planning to picket the funeral of their son and even make their day worse.
My casualty affairs officer had pulled me aside as soon as I landed, and he said there's a chance that there will be some protesters at Brennan's funeral.
In Kansas, there is a radical and extremely misguided group of fanatics that twist a Bible full of hopes for their own demented purpose. They travel to the funerals of our war fallen, our American heroes, proselytizing their perverted and twisted truth. These protesters use the backdrop of the broken and the service of those who sacrificed everything as a platform for their message of hate.
Everything I stood for, they were coming against. Everything this young man stood for and gave his life for, they mocked.
It was another surreal moment of who would protest a funeral.
It was really upsetting to know that someone would want to come and disrupt our special time to say goodbye to our son, who was fighting so that they could have the freedom to come and picket.
I knew I wasn't going to probably go out there and start busting some heads, but I was going to do everything I could to make sure that that didn't happen.
And I could see across the way a few of the people with their signs, and just down the street, I heard this sound. When I saw them, I was overwhelmed by the fact of the cavalry's here.
It was just absolutely wonderful to see them ride up on their motorcycles with their flags.
I've seen a lot of great things. I can tell you this is right up there, because on their faces was the look of, we'll take care of you. We've got this thing covered. And they did.
I probably would have gone to jail that night. I don't know what I would have done, but it wouldn't have been good.
You want to go, and you want to go hit them or do something violent to them. But at the same time, you know you can't. You know that it's the antithesis of what we're supposed to do.
You know, they're out dying so that we can enjoy what we're doing at home. You know, and the least we can do is be there for the families.
Everything these guys stood for was that this young man, in this case that day, Brennan Gibson, was going to be treated and was going to be honored in the way that he should, and there would be no interruptions.
The Patriot Guard Riders were formed in response to that to shield the family from these people, shield them physically with our bodies and our flags.
If they get too loud, fire up a couple motorcycles, shuts them right down. Now, obviously, that's the way to do it. And what that is it's a very powerful thing to do, to nullify idiots like that.
These rough and even tougher looking guardians come from every walk of life imaginable. With over 186,000 members nationwide and climbing, they are motivated by a sense of fairness and hell-bent on ensuring that those who have paid the ultimate price of freedom receive the funeral and respect they deserve.
We've been out here when it's been below freezing. We've been out here in the pouring rain, the snow, the sleet, wind blowing. We feel that it's the least that we can do for what they've paid.
To have an organization like this there for families of fallen service people is a godsend.
If there's a little bit of a way that I can help to give back part of what they've lost, just even though it's very minor compared to what they're giving up, I'd jump at the chance.
Even though I've done 250 or 300 of these, each one is different, each family is different, each setting is different. You know, we all feel it.
I feel very honored to be a part of this organization. For me, it's very cathartic.
We're not a political organization in any way, and when we get together, we're all Americans and we're all here for the same purpose, and that is to honor the fallen hero.
Some within their ranks have never served a day in the military. Some join the group because of a first-hand experience they've had with the group at a funeral for their family member. And some, like Nick Kindler, a veteran of the Vietnam War, wants to make sure that the way that they were treated when they came home never happens to anyone again.
When we came back from Vietnam, we came back as pariahs. I was never spit on, but I was called a baby killer. I was denounced. This will never happen again. As long as I'm alive, as long as Patriot Guard is around, this will never happen again.
Recently, the United States Supreme Court has announced that it will adjudicate the case of Snyder versus Phelps. This case speaks directly to the issue of First Amendment free speech and the responsibility of those using it. Our liberties as a nation are precious, powerful, and pure. Yet with those established freedoms comes a level of responsibility to the premise and promise for which they were established. May the liberty and justice for all, so pledged by all who recite our Pledge of Allegiance, be garnered and honored for those who willingly gave us the greatest gift of all.
I've been on the other side of the flag line 3 times. It's a different feeling. And what we do makes a difference.
There is a piece of property on a quiet ridge with a majestic view of Mount Hood and Mount St. Helens near Portland, Oregon. A strip of that ground belongs to Sergeant Brennan Gibson, interred with over 100,000 other warriors just like him. It is a national cemetery that honors and entombs the faithful and the fallen. Scripture teaches that love is never expressed with more power or clarity than when a person lays down their life for another. John and Linda, Karina and Ken see the significant difference between words like lost and given. Unanimous in their conviction that American warriors are willingly giving and surrendering their life for the lives of others. They did not lose, and no one took from them the life for which they freely gave.
Thank you for watching. Please visit us on our social media sites. Please consider contributing to our mission in some way. Also, we are always looking for veterans and their families to share their stories with us. Be sure to join us next week for our next episode of Never Stop Serving.